I finally got around to playing one of 2025's most anticipated titles, and let me tell you, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 isn't just a game, it's an experience. Unique, breathtaking, and emotionally charged in ways I wasn't ready for. And before I tell you my thoughts on this banger of a game, be sure to like and subscribe as I'm trying to get to 60k subs before the year ends. Merci beaucoup. Our expedition begins in the fractured town of Lumiere, a warped Paris, and today is the Gamage, which is French for exfoliation or erase. We're Gustave, a young man who will be taking part in this year's expedition. But before the expedition team sails off, they send off those who will be gamaged. You see, every year a giant paintress sits at the monolith and paints a new number. People of that age are gamaged. And I need to take a moment to really emphasize how amazing this team did with the gamage. Seeing Gustave's love interest and many others wearing a necklace of red and white flowers, talking to people, gathering people's thoughts of bringing children into a doomed world, attempting to hide from the gamage, the expedition's motto, for those who come after. The entire culture of the gamage was incredibly well done, and despite knowing Gustave's love interest for an hour, I was misty-eyed when her time came. It was this buildup that really lets the players sit with the doom and gloom this world is drenched in. But then, fast forward to setting sail, and man, here we fucking go. The game begins, baby! And I know I'm jumping around my usual order of my reviews, but the visuals and exploration of Expedition 33 cannot be understated. I play a lot of JRPGs, right? And you get the typical fiery mountains, lush forests, underwater caverns, sewer escapes, blah blah blah. While Expedition 33 may have some variation of these, they brought it to a whole other level. In fact, even before you set sail, Lumiere is incredible to walk through. Yes, walk through. I spent majority of this game walking, not running, because it's so gorgeous. Based on the visuals alone, you're asking yourself so many questions. The second area, Spring Meadows, while one of the more safe areas, still has visual flair, with luminescent plant life, broken statues, and buildings. But you're also in a land unknown, so you don't really know what to expect. One moment you're in a beautiful foresty area, the next you're surrounded by bodies of fallen expeditioners. Oh, and the later levels, oh my goodness, they go beyond the JRPG staple areas, or mesh ideas together. There's just no world like Expedition 33. Like, nothing could prepare you for the mysteries of this land. Like, finally, a game that fully captures the essence of exploration, traversing the unknown. I also think this is contributed by being the first of the series. For those who don't know, Clair Obscur is the series name, so players weren't familiar with it like they would be Final Fantasy. We didn't know what to anticipate, and that really elevated my experience. And within such a beautiful world are colorful characters. I'm not going to talk about them all, but Gustave is an instantly likable protagonist voiced by the legendary Charlie Cox. He's a chill, kind of goofy guy. I really enjoyed him and Mael's conversations. Very wholesome brother-sister talk. Speaking of best girl Mael, she is by far the youngest of the crew and insisted she joined Expedition 33. Now Lune, best girl in matters of the heart, she's the daughter of researchers and thus has an inquisitive mind herself. Also very by the book. Ciel, not gonna lie, my least favorite. I just don't think she had enough moments to really shine. Essentially, she kind of fills the shoes of the Chipper cast member. Rest assured, there are others that are actually my favorites who are amazing, but I won't ruin it for you. The less you know, the better. Another major credit I have to give is to the dialogue. Don't get me wrong, I love the over-the-top drama and ridiculous fun that often comes with anime, but what sets Expedition 33 apart is how grounded its dialogue feels. It's not without lighthearted moments, but most conversations come across as real and impactful. Nothing drags on, nothing feels rushed. It's not exposition heavy, it's genuine, thoughtful conversation. And props to Expedition 33 for doing a lot of showing and little telling. This game rewards those who pay close attention. Expedition 33 is packed with little details. Combat is approaching enemies. You have a timeline to see the order and plan accordingly. The combat really boils down to gain resources, spend resources. AP or action points allow you to use skills. You accumulate AP by performing a base attack or parrying. Parrying is hitting a button at the correct time to parry an enemy attack. These are tightly timed, so I highly encourage you to get used to the enemy's attack patterns by dodging, which is far more forgiving. It won't gain you AP, but it will spare you from taking damage because these enemies hit hard. But if you manage to parry all the enemy attacks, you will counter. There are even team counters, and when that happens, I swear to God, better than sex. It feels so good. There are also free aim shots to target specific enemy weak points or flying enemies, as well as a break gauge that when broken, stuns the enemy for a turn. That felt more like a tacked on feature. And I'm telling you now, everyone goes through this learning curve. It's tough at first, but it does get better, so stick with it. So that's the generic explanation that applies to everyone, but each character has their very own unique playstyle. For example, Gustav's arm, you deal more damage with an overcharge by dealing damage, dodging, and parrying. Lune's elemental stains, you gain stains by using certain skills, but also skills can consume a stain for an enhanced effect. Mael is my favorite in combat. She switches stances based on her attack stance, defense stance, and virtuoso, which makes her attacks 200% more powerful. As you progress, more mechanics are added, like enemy shields, different types of dodges, like jumping or gradient dodges. Fuck gradient dodges, by the way, hate them with the passion. However, gradient attacks, which you can do by using skills that fill up the gradient attack gauge, which essentially are a super move. Each character has 3 of their own. A fun aspect of any JRPG is building the characters. After leveling, you get 3 points to allocate in whichever stat. Be mindful though, because whatever weapon the character uses pulls from certain stats. For example, Lune's weapon might have an A rank in defense, so her defense stat should be high to maximize that weapon usage. Pictos are essentially accessories to be equipped that grant different boons. After 4 battles of wearing a picto, it becomes learnable. And can we talk about how kind the developers were here? They could have made it so only that individual character learns it, but instead it's available for everyone. So thank you devs for respecting our time. Luminas are boons that Pictos grant. Each character has their own pool of Lumina points. Spend them to equip the boons that you learn from Pictos. You can mix and match all you want. My only critique with the Lumina and Picto system is I wish we could have multiple setups, as different enemies required a different setup. And finally, learning skills. Most characters have a skill tree, you spend skill points to learn said skill. And for whatever reason, if you don't like your build, you could use an item to redistribute your points. Also, it's very easy to overlevel. I sure did, and I heavily regretted it because there is dialogue in between some fights. Also, some fights are just genuinely works of art. All I'm gonna say is the one in the Colosseum, one of the most beautiful boss battles I've ever experienced, and it ended far too soon. Surprisingly, I enjoyed the combat more than I anticipated, as I'm a fan of turn-based but not super fond of quick time events, which is key in Expedition 33, in dodging, parrying, and even doing extra attack damage or added effects. The other greatness of Expedition 33 is the exploration. I love there's no map. No map to fill out, nothing. These areas are pretty small and straightforward, with some straying paths that are always worth investigating, whether it be for items or maybe you'll find these horrifying mimes. They only have 2 attacks, but if hammer time lands, you are fucked. As a side note, I don't know about you guys, but if you mess up a parry while an enemy is comboing, do you just lose all rhythm and eat ass for the remainder of the attack? Because I sure did. Anyways, keep a lookout for journals which reveal thoughts of past expeditioners, or others, which are fully voiced and provide interesting insight or good laughs. Mansion doors, honestly one of the coolest concepts of this game, the mansion, not gonna say more, just find the doors. And chromatic enemies, which are just stronger versions of the enemies you know and come to fucking hate. And finally, flags in danger areas to save, and I love that they're left behind from past expeditioners for those who will come after. Oh, and did you know this game had an overworld? Yes, an overworld. I didn't know this when I first played it, so it was a super pleasant surprise. Still, things to explore, monsters to fight. I love how nicely labeled areas are. Some are marked dangerous, warning you enemies are tough here, but hell, if you enjoy the challenge, there's nothing to stop you. If your dodge and parrying skills are unmatched, you can go anywhere, baby. Gestural beach challenges, which fuck those by the way, they're obnoxious minigames that net you character bathing suits. I could not be bothered. By the way, was anyone else overwhelmed by Act 3 of all the shit you could do? I did do everything, or hell, even most things, but if you're feeling confident and brave, there are some challenging ass enemies lurking in unexplored territory. You definitely want to be at your best, so make sure to camp often, level up your weapons and tinctures, and talk to your teammates to get their thoughts on the situation at hand and unlock their personal quest.
Yeah, I thought it might.
One of the biggest things that sets Expedition 33 apart is its realism, and honestly, that's not usually my thing. I'm a sucker for big-eyed, cartoony anime-styled characters, so the fact that a game with a more realistic art style still completely pulled me in says a lot about how strong the rest of its elements are. What really drew me in though was its abstract direction that the game takes at times. There were moments where I genuinely wasn't sure what I was looking at, but not in a bad way. It was mysterious, dreamlike, and absolutely captivating. That uncertainty only made me more curious. I wanted to know more. And the cutscenes? Pure cinema. Especially during combat. Every frame felt crafted, intentional, like watching a high-budget animated film come to life. Then there are the races you encounter, so wildly unique that I found myself just staring, taking it all in. And the environments, I mentioned it briefly before, but it deserves repeating, I walked through most of this game. I can't say that about any other game I've played in recent memory. I wasn't rushing, I was soaking it in. Every frame, every vista, every strange, beautiful detail. Expedition 33 isn't just visually stunning, it's a world you feel. A world the dev team clearly poured everything into, and it shows. As if Expedition 33 wasn't already reaching for the heavens, the music took it even higher. It elevated everything. Beautiful, heartfelt, and surprisingly diverse. A lot of the soundtracks lean into the soft, calming melodies, but then out of nowhere, jazz? Dubstep? It's the kind of score that keeps you on your toes, just like the game itself. And I had so many favorites, but it was the battle themes that truly gripped me. One in particular blew me away. One that I also heard many, many, many times because this fight was brutal. And if you're not a native French speaker, do yourself a favor and look up the lyrics afterward. Trust me, they're stunning, poetic even. They add a whole new emotional depth to a track that already goes hard. But I think the first time the music really hit me was in the Flying Waters, the battle theme. The soft vocals in combination with a sonar? Ugh, genius. You bet your ass every time I was at camp, I played Globu. Yeah, Expedition 33 crushed it. It is worth every ounce of hype from the bold, and I mean bold, storytelling, imaginative worlds, music that will transport you to another plane of existence. Combat is super engaging, very challenging, but super satisfying. Also, it weirdly sticks with you. I remember I saw the Demon Slayer movie and seeing Akaza throw all these punches. I'm like talking to Guy like, parry it! It's funny. I just finished Trails in the Sky remake as well, and I was like, why can't I parry anything? I am very interested in where Clair Obscur is going. They already confirmed a sequel, and they better have too, because in this game, they like dropped a bomb casually, and then like don't address it. So clearly there's like a whole other thing going on that will probably be addressed in the sequel, and I need to know. I need to know. You can't just say this and then be like, so anyways, back to the main story. Bitch, what? So yeah, Expedition 33, definitely my game of the year. It just brought the creativity and love for refreshing storytelling that the gaming industry desperately needed. As always, thanks for watching. Click the boxes to see the other videos of mine that may interest you, and don't forget to join the Patreon where you get early access to videos and the Discord. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!